The suitcase that shouldn't exist. I wasn't supposed to be home that Thursday afternoon. A last-minute work meeting got cancelled, so I figured I'd surprise my wife, Emily. We'd been married for 7 years, and things had felt off lately. Less kisses, fewer conversations, more phone scrolling. I chalked it up to stress. But that day, I walked through the front door and heard something strange upstairs. Not voices, not footsteps, just silence. The kind that makes your stomach twist. Like the house was holding its breath. I called out, "Em?" No answer. I went upstairs, heart pounding for reasons I couldn't explain. Our bedroom was empty. So was the guest room. But then I opened the closet. There was a suitcase. Not mine. Not hers. A black Samsonite I'd never seen before. Half unzipped, like someone left in a hurry. Inside? Men's clothes. Cologne. A toothbrush. I stood there, frozen, staring at the evidence of someone else in my home. Someone who had stayed here. Slept here. I didn't touch anything. I couldn't. My hands shook as I backed away. Was I losing my mind? Was there some explanation? A visiting cousin? A mistake? But deep down, I already knew. Something was very, very wrong. And I was about to uncover just how deep the betrayal went. Her perfect lie. When Emily walked through the door that evening, she looked normal. Like she hadn't just shattered my entire reality. She smiled at me. "Hey, babe. You're home early." I tried to match her energy, but inside, I was boiling. My mind screamed 1,000 questions, but I managed to keep my voice steady. "Yeah. Meeting got cancelled. Thought I'd surprise you." She leaned in and kissed me, like everything was fine. I stared at her, wondering how many times she'd lied to my face. Dinner was a blur. I couldn't eat. Couldn't speak. My mind was stuck on that suitcase upstairs. On the stranger who'd lived in my house. On the fact that Emily was pretending everything was normal. When she got up to shower, I followed her upstairs. Quiet. Careful. And that's when I saw it. The suitcase was gone. Vanished. Like it never existed. I checked the closet. The guest room. Every damn corner. Nothing. I felt like I was going crazy. So I waited. Waited for her to fall asleep, curled up beside me like nothing was wrong. And once I was sure she was out, I went looking. I searched her phone. Nothing suspicious, she was too smart for that. But her laptop? She forgot to log out of her email. And that's when I found him. Dozens of messages. Late-night emails. A name I didn't recognize, Daniel. And one line burned into my memory. "I miss your scent on my pillow." My blood ran cold. She hadn't just lied. She'd built a second life. The man and the messages. I couldn't sleep that night. I lay there, beside the woman I thought I knew, listening to her breathe while my heart broke in silence. Daniel. Who the hell was he? How long had this been going on? Why my house? The emails were intimate. Not just lust, there were "I love US." Talk of trips. Of memories I had no part in. She had written, "It's getting harder to hide. He's starting to notice things." He being me. I wanted to scream. Instead, I took screenshots. Every message. Every detail. If she wanted to lie, I wanted the truth in my hands. I emailed everything to myself and backed it all up. Twice. The next morning, I watched her make coffee like she hadn't detonated our life. She smiled. Told me she loved me. I wanted to ask her if Daniel liked his coffee the same way. But I stayed quiet. I needed more. I needed to know everything before I confronted her. That evening, I made an excuse to step out. Told her I had to meet a client. I drove 10 minutes away and parked. Then I did something I never thought I'd do. I hired a private investigator. His name was Ron. Gruff guy. No nonsense. I handed him the emails and said, "Find him. Find Daniel." Ron raised an eyebrow. "You sure you want to know everything?" "No," I said. "But I need to. Because the truth might destroy me." But living in this lie? That was already killing me. The photograph. Ron didn't waste time. Just 3 days later, he called me, "Got something you'll want to see. Meet me." I drove to a diner on the edge of town, heart hammering in my chest. Ron was already seated, sipping bad coffee. He slid a manila envelope across the table without a word. I opened it, and froze. Inside was a series of photos. Emily. holding hands with a man in a dark jacket. Not just walking. Intimate. In one, she was leaning on his shoulder. In another, they were kissing in a car I didn't recognize. Daniel. He looked older than me. Mid-40s. Rugged. Confident. Not a stranger you meet by accident. My stomach churned. Ron watched me carefully. "You want the full story?" I nodded. "He's not just some guy," Ron said. "Daniel Granger. Divorced. Works in corporate security. Guess where?" "Where?" "Your wife's company." My blood ran cold. That meant she'd been seeing him under my nose. Office parties. Late meetings. All the nights she stayed late. Lies stacked on lies. Ron wasn't done. "He's been coming to your house for weeks. Your neighbors have seen him. Thought he was a cousin or something." "A cousin?" I felt sick. How many people knew? Or suspected? Before I did? I thanked Ron and paid him. Drove home in silence, the envelope on the passenger seat like a loaded weapon. Emily was watching TV when I walked in. She smiled. "Hey! You're back early again." And I smiled back. But this time, it wasn't real. Because I had a plan. Let her dig her own grave. I decided not to confront her. Not yet. See, the old me would have exploded. Demanded answers. Yelled. Cried. But now? I wanted precision. I wanted her to hang herself with her own lies. Word by word. That night, I acted normal. I asked her about her day, about work. She said she had to stay late tomorrow, again. I smiled. "No problem, babe. Want me to pick up dinner?" She kissed my cheek. "You're the best." I wanted to laugh in her face. Instead, I installed a hidden camera in the guest room. Small, wireless, perfect view of the bed. I also set a tracker in her car. Something Ron had recommended. "Information is power," he'd said. And oh boy, I was gathering power by the minute. The next day, I followed her GPS to a quiet residential street. She wasn't at the office. She was at his place. Ron had been right. I watched from my car across the street as she walked up to the door with a bottle of wine in hand. She looked like a woman in love. Not a single trace of guilt. That night, she came home and acted like nothing had happened. "We had a team dinner," she said. "Long day." I nodded. "Hope you had fun." Inside, my blood boiled. But my face? Stone cold. The next day, she told me she was going to visit her sister in another city. A lie. But I agreed, even helped pack her bag. Because while she was gone, I had work to do. And what I found next shattered whatever was left of the man I used to be. The hidden phone. With Emily visiting her sister, I had the house to myself. I started with the obvious, her closet, her drawers, under the bed. But it was in the laundry room, behind the detergent bottles, that I found it. A second phone. A cheap burner. No password. No fingerprint lock. Just a swipe to unlock, and a direct line into the twisted life my wife had been living behind my back. There were texts. Hundreds. From Daniel. "Can't wait to have you all to myself this weekend. Don't worry, he's too blind to see anything. We'll be free soon." Free? Were they planning something? Then I saw it, a deleted message that hadn't synced yet with a cloud backup. "He's been acting strange. I think he suspects." My stomach dropped. She knew I was catching on. But instead of pulling back, she was accelerating. Planning the future. With him. There were also voice notes. I listened to one. Her voice, soft, sultry. "I want you so badly it hurts. Every time I'm with him, I'm thinking about you." My chest tightened. 7 years. Birthdays. Holidays. Quiet mornings with coffee. All of it, now tainted. And yet, I wasn't done. I scrolled through photos. Screenshots of our texts, sent to Daniel. My own messages. My words. Being dissected and mocked. "Look what he said last night," smiley face emoji. That was the moment something inside me snapped. This wasn't just betrayal. It was humiliation. Performed for applause. I closed the phone. I had what I needed. But I wasn't going to confront her in anger. No. I was going to destroy them both, slowly, quietly, and completely. The setup. By the time Emily returned from her sister's, I was a different man. Calmer. Colder. Focused. She walked in the door, humming, kissed me on the cheek like she hadn't just spent the weekend in another man's bed. "How was it?" I asked. "Oh, so relaxing," she said. "We went wine tasting." I nodded, forcing a smile. "Glad you had fun." Inside, I was counting the days. Because now, I had everything I needed to destroy her story, and everything she thought she'd get away with. First, I copied the contents of the burner phone to a secure drive. Then, I printed out every email, every photo Ron had taken, every screenshot from the messages. I organized them into a folder. I labeled it, Truth. Second, I went to her lawyer, under the pretense of updating our will. In reality, I was preparing for a divorce, one where I had every piece of leverage. We didn't have kids. But we had a house, a joint savings, investments. And I was going to walk away with everything. But I wasn't done yet. I started being extra nice. Dinners, surprises, date nights. She thought I was trying to rekindle our marriage. I even suggested a weekend getaway, just the two of us. She agreed, hesitantly. What she didn't know was that I'd invited someone else to join us. Not physically. No. That would ruin the surprise. But the hidden camera in our hotel room? That would do just fine. I wasn't just going to catch her cheating. I was going to prove it to everyone, her family, our friends, the court. One perfect weekend. One perfect trap. Weekend of truth. We drove upstate to a cozy cabin resort near the lake. The kind of place built for romance. Fresh air, wine, crackling fireplaces. Emily was glowing. "Feels like old times," she said, curling her arm around mine. I forced a smile. "Yeah. Just like old times." She didn't know I'd arrived at the cabin a full day earlier. That I had hidden cameras already placed, living room, bedroom, even outside near the porch. Small. Silent. Motion triggered. I'd tested the angles. Double-checked everything. I wasn't just hoping to catch her in a lie. I was inviting it. The first night, she seemed hesitant. Checked her phone a lot. Slipped away to the bathroom frequently. I could hear the muffled whispers. She was messaging Daniel. I knew it before even seeing the screen. The second night, I casually said, "I've got a migraine. I think I'll lie down early." She kissed my forehead. "I'll sit outside for a bit." I waited 10 minutes, then checked the camera feed on my laptop. There she was. Standing on the porch. Face glowing from her phone. I clicked audio. "He's asleep. I'll call you now." The rage that flared in my chest nearly knocked me out of my chair. But I didn't move. Instead, I watched. Listened. Every word. Every line. "I miss you too." "No, he has no clue. One more month. I promise." Then she said something that pushed me over the edge. "We'll sell the house. I'll make sure he's taken care of. I just need him to feel safe for now." She wasn't just cheating. She was plotting. Plotting my exit from the life I built. But I smiled. Because everything was recorded. And she had no idea. Confrontation in silence. The ride home from the cabin was eerily peaceful. Emily hummed to music, held my hand at red lights, told me she hadn't felt this close to me in years. It was almost beautiful, if it wasn't built on lies. I nodded along. Smiled. Even kissed her knuckles like I used to. All while the footage, audio, screenshots, and email logs were backed up to 3 drives and a secure online vault. I had everything. And now, it was time to start tearing her world apart. But I didn't do it with yelling or accusations. I started with her sister. I sent her a private folder, untraceable, anonymous, with all the evidence. Just a polite message, "Thought you should know who your sister really is." Then Daniel's ex-wife. She was easy to find on social media. "Your ex-husband's been sleeping with a married woman. Here's proof. You deserve better." Then came her job. I requested a meeting with HR, anonymously again, sharing very clear proof that Emily and Daniel were in a relationship, one that violated company policy. The effect was immediate. Emily came home 2 days later, pale and shaking. I think I might get suspended," she said. "Someone send HR emails. I swear I don't know who." I looked at her with wide, fake concern. "That's awful." Her hands trembled. "And my sister? She's not answering my texts." "Maybe she's busy." I played dumb. But inside, I was smiling. She was unraveling. Alone. And the best part? I hadn't even said a word to her about what I knew. I wanted her to feel it first. Then I'd deliver the final blow. The envelope on the table. I came home early from work. Emily was on the couch, knees pulled to her chest, her phone on the coffee table, vibrating with messages she wasn't answering. She looked up at me like a ghost. "Something's going on," she said. "Daniel's not responding. HR won't tell me who reported us. My sister blocked me." I sat beside her, silent. She grabbed my hand. "Do you think someone's trying to ruin me?" That was the moment. I stood up, walked to my bag, pulled out the thick manila envelope I'd been holding onto for weeks. Labeled in sharp black letters, "Truth." I dropped it on the table in front of her. She stared at it. "What's this?" I didn't answer. She opened it. Inside, printed screenshots of the emails. Photos from Ron. GPS logs. Audio transcripts. Burned CD with video footage. Copies of texts from the burner phone. A complete, indisputable record of her affair and deception. Her face drained of color. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. I finally spoke. "I know. I've known for weeks." She looked up at me, stunned. You did this?" "No. You did this," I said. "I just gave it form." Tears welled up in her eyes. "I didn't mean." "You didn't mean to get caught." Silence stretched between us. And then I said the words she never expected to hear. "I've already filed for divorce. The lawyer will contact you tomorrow. I suggest you read every page of that envelope carefully. You'll understand why you're walking away with nothing." Her body shook. "Please. We can fix this." But I was already walking out of the room. For the first time in weeks, I felt free. Aftershock. Emily didn't leave the house that night. She stayed curled up on the couch, clutching the folder like it was some kind of life raft. I could hear her crying through the walls. But I didn't go to her. I slept in the guest room. Alone. Peaceful. The next morning, she was gone. No note. No suitcase. Just a few missing clothes and her car no longer in the driveway. It was quiet. Strangely quiet. And for a moment, I didn't know what to feel. Relief? Grief? Anger? Maybe all of it. Later that day, my lawyer called. "She's already contacted representation." "Sounds like she's panicking." I nodded. "Good. She wants to negotiate." I laughed. "There's nothing to negotiate. She cheated. I have proof. She violated everything. She's scared," the lawyer added. "And she should be." I spent the day cleaning the house. Not in a rage, just reclaiming space. Our wedding photos? Packed. Her books? Boxed. That damn wine glass she always used after her late shifts? Thrown in the trash. It wasn't just about moving on. It was about cleansing the damage. I even started cooking again. Real food. Not takeout. Not frozen dinners eaten in silence while she lied to my face. I called my brother for the first time in months. Told him everything. He didn't say, "I told you so." He just said, "Finally, man." That night, I sat on the back porch with a drink in hand, watching the sky darken. And for the first time in a long time, it felt like my life was mine again. But something told me Emily wasn't done. And I was right. The unexpected call. 2 weeks after Emily left, my phone rang late at night. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. Something told me not to. "Hello? Hey, it's Daniel." My heart skipped a beat. The man who ruined everything was calling me? "Daniel," I said cautiously. "What do you want?" There was a long pause. Then he sighed. "I'm sorry. For everything." I was stunned. Did he think an apology would fix this? "What are you sorry for? Destroying my marriage? Sneaking into my house? Lying to my face?" "Look, it's complicated. Emily. She's not what you think. She's manipulative. Dangerous." I laughed bitterly. "And you're the innocent victim?" "No. But I've been trying to back away. She threatened me. Said she'd ruin me if I left." Suddenly, everything made sense. The secret meetings. The lies. I realized this wasn't just an affair. It was a war zone. Daniel was as trapped as I was. I ended the call with a warning. Stay out of my life. But I knew one thing. The nightmare wasn't over. It was just beginning. A stranger's warning. The next morning, I found an envelope slipped under my door. No return address. Inside was a single note. "Be careful who you trust. Emily isn't the only one hiding secrets." Attached was a photo of Emily, meeting with someone I didn't recognize. A man. Tall. Broad-shouldered. Wearing a dark hoodie. My heart sank. Who was he? What did he want? And how deep did this mess really go? I tried calling Emily, but she ignored my calls. I reached out to Ron, the pie. He promised to dig into the mystery man. Days passed. Then Ron called me back. He's dangerous. Has a record for fraud and violence. Known to use intimidation. Suddenly, my simple plan for revenge had spiraled into something far darker. Emily wasn't just cheating. She was involved in something criminal. And somehow, I was right in the middle of it. Crossing the line. I confronted Emily one last time. I went to her new apartment, a place I didn't even know about until Ron found it. She opened the door, surprised but guarded. "I know everything," I said calmly, holding up the folder of evidence. She laughed, cold and bitter. "You think this scares me? You have no idea what I'm capable of." Her eyes flashed with something I hadn't seen before: fury, desperation, maybe even madness. "I didn't just cheat," she whispered. "I've been protecting myself. From him." She nodded toward the door. "He's watching. Waiting. If I walk away, he'll come after me." Suddenly, everything clicked. The man in the hoodie, the threats, the secret meetings. She wasn't just a liar. She was a woman fighting for survival. And now, I had to decide, was I going to be her enemy, or something else entirely? Freedom, at a cost. I left Emily's apartment in silence. No screaming. No threats. No closure. Just silence. I didn't know what was true anymore. Was she a victim? A manipulator? Both. But I knew one thing for certain: I was done. I'd spent months drowning in lies, betrayal, revenge. And somewhere along the way, I'd stopped living. The divorce went through fast. Cleaner than expected. She didn't fight. Maybe she was too scared. Maybe she knew she'd already lost. The house. Mine. The accounts. Mostly mine. The guilt? Hers to carry. I blocked her number. Deleted every photo. Burned the last card she ever gave me. And for the first time in what felt like years, I exhaled. I started rebuilding. Therapy. New routines. Late night walks without checking my phone. Cooking for myself. Laughing again. Ron sent one last update: the man in the hoodie had skipped town. Disappeared. And Emily? Rumors said she quit her job. Moved states. Started over. Good. So did I. This story isn't about revenge anymore. It's about freedom. About learning that walking away can be the strongest move of all. If you've made it this far, thank you for listening. And if you've ever been betrayed, know this: you're not broken. You're becoming someone stronger. Subscribe for more real stories that hit where it hurts. And remind you, you're not alone.